right, well, let's get going here today. I don't know how long my voice will hold up. This is the best my voice has been in about a week and a half. So, and that's why I got the water with me here today. And I'm not going to be talking the whole time. Decided because of the voice, the syllabus activity we're going to do today, rather than having me go through the syllabus with you, you're going to be going through the syllabus with yourself. And then we'll have a chance to review the syllabus in here collectively as a class. My name is Lance Lund, and for those of you that are curious as to how to address me, Lance is just fine, Mr. Lund is fine, Professor Lund is fine, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. As long as it's, I'm going to try my best to learn your name, so as long as it's not being teacher. I mean, you only have one name here to learn in your teacher. I have like 48 of you to learn in here for this class, about 200 this semester. So it does take me a little while to get everybody's name down, and the older I get, the longer it takes for me to get those down. But I do try my best to get your names down. And it probably won't be till about halfway through the semester, but I'll get them. Now, as far as what we're going to do here today, you have the syllabus, you have the pink card. We'll talk about that a bit. If you're wondering, you may have saw when I come in, it looked like he's recording something, and yes, I am recording something. I record every lecture in here, and I record it from beginning to end. And unless we have technology issues in here, what I do once class is finished, I will go ahead and review them. If I say something stupid or whatever like that, I go and edit that stuff out. But then I go ahead and render it and post it up to YouTube, and then I link it into the D2L course. So any course, any class that we go through in here, I know what you're saying. I was like, wow, we don't even need to come to class. And what you're going to find out is that, if you think I'm boring in here, just wait till you try listening to an entire class on your own when you're trying to go to bed. It ain't going to work, okay? So you will want to be sure that you come to class here every day, even though I am recording it. The other thing I do is that I use a tablet PC here that I write on, and I also upload PDFs to D2L after class every day as well. So, yeah, I'll show that here in just a bit. Now, the pink card. If you just came in, I saw one person just come in. Anybody else not get any items? Okay. Now, one other thing you may have noticed when you came in, especially if you came in the back door, is the back row says reserved seating. Now, anybody at this point can move to the reserved seating, but here's what the reserved seating is for. If you have a problem with keeping your hands off your phone, okay? That is, if you are very compulsive and you absolutely must be texting or Snapchatting, whatever it is during class, you're not going to do it in any of these rows here. You're going to do it in the back row and distract just everybody in the back. You're not going to distract the rest of us up here. Okay? Now, you might say, well, we're going to have our phones out. What's this thing he's having us do here with downloading an app to our phones already? Aren't we going to have them out? And the answer to that is yes. You are going to have your phones out during class, or your tablet devices. If you don't have a tablet or smartphone, I see a laptop here. Laptop's just fine. We are going to be using these in every class. And it is a way that I take attendance. Socrative app is a question and answer type app where sometimes I'll be quizzing things to see how well you've learned things from the previous class. Sometimes they are of a general interest, they're survey type thing where I just want to know what we're doing. Or how we're doing on something. So I'll be doing things like that with the phones. So it's going to be very tempting while you're sitting there to Snapchat or text or Facebook, whatever it is that you're doing. But that's not what these front rows are for. If you need to do that stuff during class, then you're going to find a seat in the back row. Okay? So is that clear? There's no texting, Snapchatting, or anything in class here unless you're sitting where?
The back row.
The back row. Okay, so anybody that wants to go to the back row right now, now's your chance. All right. Now, that doesn't mean you can't sit in the back row from this class forward. If you want to sit in the back row and sit with the snappers and the texters and whatever else, you can sit back there. with them, but today it's off limits. Just want to make the point that if you do it. The other thing that the back row is reserved for is if you come in late. If you do need to come in late, I don't like for you to come in late, but I know things happen. I mean, I know sometimes the train goes by on Hanson Boulevard, or if we get some snow like we're supposed to be getting Wednesday night and a Thursday, Highway 10 can back way up to Elk River or whatever, and things that you might be running late. So if you do have to come late, do not come through the front door. Please come through the back door and find a seat in the back as well. So the back row is for those that need to tech snap, or if you need to come in late, whatever else. So any questions on that? That's kind of a rule of order from here. Okay, so now what are those pink cards for? And anybody need a copy? Anybody come in late need a copy? All right. So what you're going to do is put your name on the bottom of the sheet, first name and last name. And please write legibly, because you're going to turn this right back into me. When we do our surveys and such on the Socrative app, you want to maintain some level of anonymity with your peers, perhaps. So what you want to do is, this is your name, the symbol that you have there, you can flip it over, memorize that symbol. That is who you are going to be in this class for the rest of the way. Okay, now if you think you're a forgetful person, you might want to go somewhere in your syllabus right now and write that chemical symbol down, because again, according to me and according to the Socrative app, you're going to be known as that chemical symbol from this point forward. So this goes back to the attendance thing. Do I take attendance? Well, not really. Is attendance required in here? Well, not really. However, because we are going to be using the Socrative app every day, and because you're going to be signing in with that chemical symbol that you have there with you right now, I will be able to keep track of who comes to class on a regular basis and who doesn't. And when it comes time to figuring out how, like, why are you doing so well in the class, or why aren't you doing so well in the class, I can go back and look at that Socrative app and see how you've signed in or not signed in. And then if you've not been signing in, that's telling me that you've not been coming to class regularly. So that's what the whole symbol thing is. Any questions? All right, if you want to maintain that anonymity, go ahead and turn that upside down right now. Make sure that you have that committed to memory, write it down or whatever else, and pass those pink sheets into the center. Wow, wonderful. Efficient. All right. So now, what's next? Let's see how the Socrative app works. Now, every day when you come into class, there's going to be 1 to maybe 5 or 6 questions waiting for you every day. And again, sometimes they are a survey type things. I just want to know where we lie as a class. Sometimes they are a quiz type thing, and I want to know how well did the class learn this stuff? Do we need to start the class reteaching something, or do we not? Okay, so that's kind of what the two main things that I use it for. So today, I want to learn a little bit about you. And so when you come in the Socrative app, let's go ahead and open up the Socrative app right now. And if you've not yet downloaded it, here's where you download it. No, that's not where. If you are on an Android device, you go to your, the Google Play Store, and the App Store if you have an iOS device. If you have a laptop, you're just going to go to Socrative.com. Once you get there, it's going to ask you for a room. Yes. That's okay. If you didn't bring your phone today, that's all right. And if you don't have a phone or tablet device, mobile device of some sort, let me know after class. We have some tablets we can loan out or whatever. And if you forget, like in one class, we're not going to worry about one class, but if you have an issue where you have access, it's difficult on a regular basis, let me know and I can get you set up. Okay, so once you get in here, then what we're going to do every day, and this is before you come to class, or once you get here, you're going to go to the room called Chem Lancer. So this is the room you're going to go to. Chem Lancer, that's me. All right, this is my room. And don't think of copying this name. I'm going to trademark this and whatever else. This is what I'm going to do in my retirement. I already have things that I have labeled Chem Lancer. That's my YouTube channel. It's my Facebook name. All sorts of things here. So Chem Lancer, that's me. So once you get in there, then it's going to ask for your name. Now don't write your name in there. When it asks for your name is going to be the chemical symbol. So whatever that 1 or 2 letter symbol was, that's your name, and that's the name that you're going to enter every day. And once you get in there, so again, the room is Chem Lancer, and then the name that you're going to enter, so enter the room. Once you enter the room, it's going to ask for your name. The name that you're going to enter is your chemical symbol. And once you get in there, you're going to see a question that will pop up on your screen, and that question is going to read, have you previously taken a chemistry course at any point in your life? So you'll go ahead and answer that question. Now again, for me today, this is to kind of get a feeling for who you are, and then you get a chance to see who your peers are as a class. Now I can always tell how many people are signed in. There's 39 of you signed in. There's supposed to be 48 of you in here, so that means we're still waiting for 9 of you. Or maybe we don't have that device with us today, and that's okay. And then the first number here tells me how many have registered an answer. So we'll check this out. How have you previously taken a chemistry course? And it looks like 62% of you have, 35% of you have not, and there's even some of you that can't remember. And that's okay. All right, next question here is, are you planning on a STEM-related career? And if you are going into a STEM-related career, you know what STEM stands for. If you don't, what does it stand for? Science, technology, engineering, math. So are you planning a career that involves one of the STEM disciplines? Okay, we'll check these answers out, and it looks like 37% of you are, 47% are not. That's unusual. Usually in this class, this is closer to about 50%, so I need to keep that in mind here as I go through the class, that maybe we're dealing with maybe a few more than normal that don't know for sure or are not. Okay. Next is, are you planning a career in the health sciences? So maybe doctor, nurse, pharmacist, physical therapy, occupational therapy, veterinarian. All right, we'll check this out. Looks like half of you are planning a health-related career. That's cool. Next one here is, are you taking this course to satisfy the general education requirements? By that we mean for the MNTC. And we'll check this out here. And looks like 91% of you are, and that's been pretty common here now since we wound up splitting off 2 intro-level courses. This one's become much more of the Gen Ed class, and again, that's important for me to keep in mind because in here I'm not teaching a bunch of people that are planning to be chemists or whatever, scientists. So I need to keep in mind is how can we use this stuff in our everyday type experience. And I won't say that that's going to be the entire basis here. I still believe in the importance of looking at each discipline as they represent themselves, but you certainly, students coming in here, probably would like to know how what we learn in here can be applied to your everyday life. Okay, so any questions on anything that we've done here with the app or what we've seen here today? Okay. So every day when you come to class, here's what you're going to do. I will be sitting in my office and probably about 7:45 every day we have class. I'm going to load up some questions, and there'll be a question waiting for you. Just like when you logged in the room today, you saw that question pop up. I will load that up in my office around 7:45. If you come into class, you're going to open up your Socrative app. The room you're going to go to is called Chem Lancer, and you're going to log in with your symbol. That's right. So your symbol is your name. So remember that from this point forward. Okay, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to look at the syllabus. We're going to look at the syllabus. And on the syllabus, there are these sections I'd like for you to look at. And we are going to break into 9 groups in here. I just want to be sure here how many people we have. So we've got 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 6, 31, 6. All right. So we need 9 groups in here, and each group is going to have 5 people in it. So at this point, you can turn around, and it's not going to be, oh, we only have 4. If you feel left out, you're going to find a group until you have 5 people in every group. I'll give you about 1 minute here to find groups, and I'll tell you what's coming next. Find a group of 5. Find a group of 5. If you don't have 5, move until you find 5. And if you found 5 people, come up here and pick up a number from 1 through 9. Send somebody up. And this is going to be the portion of the syllabus your group is going to be responsible for. So look at it. If you want to direct anyone in your group, which number to pick? And there should be 1 person left over, so there should be 1 group of 6. So whoever you are, hopefully you found yourself in a group of 6. But we're not having groups of 8, we're not having groups of 3. If you're not in a group of 5, move until you get in a group of 5. That's an assignment. Okay, so if you have 5, if you don't have 5 people, move till you find someone. Figure it out, move till we have 5 in a group.
You only have 4?
Okay, they have 6?
Yeah.
All right, good. So now, if you picked a number, that number corresponds to these sections in the syllabus. Okay, so if you have picked number 1, your group is responsible for going through the section of the syllabus that's labeled materials required. If you pick number 6, you're looking at the section that says succeeding in this course. What I'd like you to do, I'm going to give you about, I don't know, 7, 8 minutes. What I'd like you to do is make sure that you introduce and you learn the name of everybody in your group. Okay, so if you need to, write it down. Learn who's in your group. The second thing that you're going to do is for your section, find the 3 or 4 most important items that you think everybody in the class should know about that section. So find 3 or 4 items, and then at the end you're going to pick a spokesperson to share with the class. So introduce yourself to the group, find the 3 or 4 items you think the rest of the class should know about your particular section, then appoint your spokesperson. We'll go through it as a class, probably in about 7 or 8 minutes. Let's go. All right. Let's go ahead and go through these here. Group number 1 was on materials required. Where are you guys at? Group 1. All right. What can you tell us? Top 3 or 4 items from yours. And who are you, by the way?
My, thing? Or
Oh,
me?
no. Yeah, your name. How about your name? Because I'm Lance.
I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
I'd say the top 3 would be 1, the chemistry textbook for this course that comes with the access code, the lab manual, and then the scientific calculator.
All right, so the textbook. And what did you find out about the textbook? Do you have to get the printed copy, or what do we find out over there?
I didn't read too much into that.
Okay.
No, you don't have to get the printed copy, but it's the one that I would buy because it has the access code already with it.
Okay. And one thing I want to point out here is that there is one option if you haven't purchased yet for $59.95. You want to do the e-text. I mean, I know some of you, I come with my iPad and I get all my books on my iPad myself. It's $59.95. That's one way to save some money. So, very good. So we looked at the textbook here. I'm going to try to mark these as we went. That's required. You mentioned the lab manual. And then what about the scientific calculator? What did we say about the scientific calculator?
Oh, TI 83 or higher, I thought it said.
Okay. And where do we have that? Actually, yeah. You can bring any scientific calculator in here. It does not need to be a TI 83 or higher. You just need to make sure that you have the scientific calculator. If you have a basic one, like I have some 2-line ones up here that I loan out. If you happen to forget calculators, I do loan these out to you in here, but I do collect some collateral from you if you need to borrow one from me. Okay, very good. Any questions on the materials? Okay, the next item, let's see here. Laboratory and lab schedule. Go ahead. And you are?
I am Cara.
Hi, Cara.
And one of the main things to remember is that not everyone in this class has lab on the same day. So some of us have it on Wednesdays, some of us have it on Thursdays.
Okay, how many of you know which day you have lab? Raise your hand if you know the day you have lab. Okay, how many have it on Wednesday? How many have it on Thursday? All right, good. Next up.
Also, if you were to miss a lab, you need to plan for it because it's space available, and you have to do it when the same lab is being done as well. So if I'm a Thursday student and I know I'm going to miss a lab, I need to plan ahead to do it on Wednesday because they won't be doing the same experiment the next week.
Okay, and where might we find out which labs are being done?
In the back, it tells you which experiments we do, which days.
Okay, and do you have a page reference there for us?
It is page 10.
Page 10. All right, so if you go to page 10, you're going to find a list of which labs are going to be done on which dates.
And then if you are to miss 3 labs, you'll be reduced by 1 full letter grade, and 3 more is to follow. So 4 you miss, you lose another letter grade, so that's 2. And then otherwise you're failing.
All right, so we're saying we better come to lab because if we don't come to lab, it's going to wind up hurting your grades, and that is listed right here in the lab section. Okay, very good. Any questions on the lab section? Okay, next up we have number 3, assignments and quizzes and the extra credit section. Go ahead, and your name is?
Cece.
Hi there, Cece.
Hi. The first thing is it's very helpful to read the assignments and the part of the book that relates to class before you come to class. And then homework quizzes are online on Mastering Chemistry.
Okay.
And then, let's see, your lowest score of the semester is dropped. And then there's extra credit. 0.3 extra credit points awarded for each practice problem set above an 80%, and again that's on Mastering Chemistry. And then 2 extra credit points awarded for each of 2 take-home lab activities closer to the end of the semester.
Okay, very good. And Mastering Chemistry, how many of you at this point know how to access Mastering Chemistry? How many have already logged into Mastering Chemistry? Okay, if you haven't, where do you find that access code?
Well, it depends where you get it.
Depends on where you get it. So if you got the book, where do you find it?
It's on a little thing in the book, little card stop, it'll tell you your access code.
Right, so if you opened up your packet there for the book, you'll find the access code in there. If you do it electronically, if you get the e-text, then I don't think you actually even get a code. It just automatically registers you for the course. Okay, any questions on those? All right, next, exams, accommodations, alternative testing, and makeup exams. Who has those? And you are?
I'm Say.
Hi there, Say.
Hi. So there's going to be 4 exams in this class, plus a cumulative final, and they're 1 hour long. And there's no makeups for any exams unless you're a student who has to be at like a school-sponsored event or like sporting event or something. And that has to be notified to you 2 weeks before the actual exam. And then religious beliefs and events too. You have to notify you first week of class. So, and then your lowest exam score will be dropped.
Lowest exam score will be dropped. So I've heard that 2 different places already. The lowest exam score will be dropped and your lowest... What?
Quiz?
Quiz. Your lowest quiz, Mastering Chemistry quiz score will be dropped. And that's part of one of the ways I justify no makeups on exams. So just so it's clear, there's no makeups in here unless it's for those reasons that are listed here in the syllabus. I know people get sick, but that's why I have the drop an exam for any reason in here. You can think of it this way if you prefer, that you only need to come to 3 1-hour exams. Everybody has to come to the final. The final is required of everyone, but for the 1-hour exams, only 3 1-hour exams are required. If you come to all 4, then your lowest is dropped. Okay. Any other questions on the syllabus?
Thank you.
Okay. Then, well, not on the syllabus, but on the exam section. Okay, next up, conduct and attendance, discussion boards, and email. Go ahead. You are?
I'm Jada.
Hi there, Jada.
Cell phones and other electronic devices we've completely turned off during exams. Should be out of sight. For the discussion boards are the preferred and most common forms of communication in class, unless it's for personal or private communication, then you should email you with our Anoka Ramsey email.
Right, from your Anoka Ramsey. So if it comes from a Yahoo account or Hotmail or Gmail or whatever you guys use these days, I can make up any Yahoo name I want or Hotmail or Gmail name I want. That doesn't tell me who you are, because I could make up one and pretend to be you if I wanted to be. So to verify who you are, if you're going to email me, it does need to come from your Anoka Ramsey email address. Very good. And do I like to get emails according to this?
No,
No. Where should it be?
the discussion board.
Right, unless?
It's private.
Unless it's private. Okay? So if it's something that, hey, I got a question about a homework assignment or whatever, the place that's going to go is? Discussion boards. Because there I can answer it one time. I don't need to answer it a bunch of times via email. Okay, very good. Let's see. Next up, we have succeeding in this course. Who has that one? And you are?
Alex.
Hi there, Alex.
So the first thing we said is the guidelines suggest you should be spending 7 to 10 hours per week outside of class, doing studying, homework, preparing for lab. But we also highlighted that everyone is different and everybody works differently, so just make sure it fits your life.
Sure. Good. Everyone's different.
And then that homework is only doing what's required, but studying goes above that and actually mastering the material.
Right, right. So you'll see some homework assignments, and I think we have another group that will be addressing that here in just a bit. Any questions on that section? Okay, next up, textbook summary and the lecture and exam schedule. Who has that one? Go ahead, and you are?
I'm Joe.
Hi there, Joe.
On page 8, it says all of the suggested problems you should answer before each exam, and you can answer them online for extra credit, so you might as well answer them there. And then on page 9, it lists all of the exam dates, so make sure you're in class for those days.
And how many exam dates do we have listed on the calendar here?
4 1 hour, and then the 1 final.
Okay, so a total of 5 exams for the 1 hour. And this one I've been told is not very clear in here. I plan to clarify this for future purposes, but where are we going to find these extra credit practice problems? Mastering chemistry. And it does kind of say that here at the bottom in small text. You are going to find these on Mastering Chemistry. They will be available for extra credit. And the problem is that you're going to come at the end of the semester and you're going to be, not you, some of you will be disappointed with your grade and you'll say, is there any extra credit in the course? And I'll say, well, the answer to that is yes. But when should you be doing the extra credit? Should be doing it as we go along. And how do we know when those due dates are? Well, all these here that are listed as practice problems, right here, these are your extra credit ones, and these are when they are due. And again, you're going to find these where? Mastering Chemistry. So these practice problems are found on Mastering Chemistry. In order to earn the extra credit, and this was something CC, your group, talked about, what do we have to do to earn the extra credit?
Get 80% or above, and I don't remember what by the deadline.
Yeah.
You can't do it late.
Right, they need to be 80% or above. So you don't have to score 100%, but it's basically an all or nothing. You get 80% or above on the practice problems, then you'll get the extra credit. And it's not, that even sounds easy, 80% or above, because you're going to be doing it with your book available and everything. The other thing you should be aware of is that the practice problems, if you look at them, they are all odd-numbered problems. They're all, well, almost all odd-numbered problems. And the answer to all of the odd-numbered problems are in the back of the book. So you could do them here in the book first, and then go and do the practice problems on Mastering Chemistry, and you will have already had them answered with the answers in the back of the book that are available here. So there's a number of ways to ensure that you can easily earn that extra credit. Okay. Next up, grades and keeping track of progress in your course. You are?
Nathan.
Hi there, Nathan.
So if you go to page 11, there's a nice table that you can keep track of your progress in. It has everything and how many points are possible, and the place to put your earned points. And then we also wanted to say that the lowest quiz and exam scores will be dropped, on which we've already said. And the pre-lab score, that's the lowest, will be dropped. And then that your lab grade is added to your lecture grade to make a whole grade of 720 points.
Exactly, and that's one thing you should know. I am not going to be your lab teacher. I have some other responsibilities I'm doing for the department this semester. So if you have lab on Wednesday, I believe your lab professor is Professor Benjamin Horn. If you have lab on Thursday, your professor is Jennifer Bigelow. So they are my colleagues. They have the same authority in teaching the course as I do. It's just at the end I will be the one that winds up assigning the grade for this course. Okay, any questions on the grade piece? All right, and then we have one group left, the syllabus quiz. Where are you? All right, you are? Sadia. Sadia. Thank you, Sadia.
So the three things we got out of that is, one, when you're when we're emailing you, we have to email you exactly how it's written out, like with the bullet points that are in the subject line, we have to write it exactly how it's written, or else you might not see it and you might not get the response to it. And if we don't get it in 24 hours, we need to redo it because we did something wrong. The D2L right space quiz is due January 18th at 11:59 p.m. And also what is D2L right space is pretty much where we can find all our information for this class and other classes.
All right. Very good. Any questions on that section of the syllabus quiz? So again, there's two pieces to it. The email piece is due when? It's due on the 18th, and then the piece on D2L is due on the 19th, right here.
It says the 18th in our packet.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the 19th. I must have discovered that mistake after it went to print.
So we get extra credit points for this.
Yeah, but I already discovered it and fixed it myself, so. But very good, very observant. Okay, any questions on the syllabus as a whole? I did not give myself extra credit, I went freebie for myself on that one. Okay, any questions on the syllabus? Ultimately, at the end, who has responsibility for the syllabus? Right, you do as the student. So if there's anything you didn't get in the activity that we went through, please be sure you go through that yourself. The syllabus quiz does walk you through those questions. I did see 2 or 3 people already have that syllabus quiz completed. And so if you've done it, then it just does ask you, you know, to pay attention to certain pieces of that syllabus. All right. Now, one other thing that you have in your syllabus packet is a periodic table. And you should anyhow. The one that I opened up here doesn't have it. Periodic table in conversion sheet. Anybody need a copy? Sorry, you're coming back here, right? All right. So, take a look at this, and this is something you are going to have available to you on all of the exams in here. The only thing you won't have it available for is on your quiz on the elements. Now you're going to notice that there are some of these elements that are shaded in gray. The ones that are shaded in gray are the ones that you are going to memorize. Okay? These are the ones you're going to memorize. And when you memorize these, you're going to learn just 2 things. The 2 things that you're going to learn is the name of the element with the correct spelling, and the second thing is the chemical symbol. So just 2 things. The name of the element with correct spelling and the chemical symbol. Now, what's one thing I want to tell you about why spelling's important, why the way we write the symbol is important as well. If we look at the periodic table, what's one thing we can notice about each of the chemical symbols on here? First letter is always capitalized, second letter is always lowercase. And that's going to be important because, let's say for example, we are writing down CO or CO. If you were to be writing it this way, you were talking about cobalt. But if you write it like this, you're talking about carbon monoxide. So case is important. First letter of a chemical symbol is always capitalized. Second letter is always lowercase. Now, obviously this particular periodic table does not have the names on it. So if you want the names, if you open up your textbook, you're going to see here in the front cover the names of the elements are listed with the correct spelling. And I believe they are also shown, not in this book, sometimes the book has them in the back, not this one, so you will see it here in the front cover. Now this is going to be an item that we are going to quiz you on in Chapter 4. This is one of the 2 quizzes of the semester. One of them is a syllabus quiz, which is due next week. The other one is the element quiz, and that is going to be due, let me just see here. I think I wrote it on the syllabus. Anybody see that due date right now? Element quiz, it should say. It's on the calendar. It doesn't say. That must be in my online class. All right. We will shoot for January 25th as an in-class day. In fact, I don't know yet whether it will be administered in class or via D2L. It just depends. If we're running behind, I administer it on D2L. If we have plenty of time, then I administer it in class. So if it's in class, it'll be on the 25th. If it's going to be on D2L, I usually have it open for about 4 or 5 days. and you'll see it available on there. And I'm sure the last due date on D2L would probably be the 29th, the day before our exam. Now, if you go to D2L, in fact, why don't we do that right now? One of the things that I've done here, we talked about already, that I post all of my notes onto D2L. And so if you come into the course, go to materials and then content, you're going to see a layout where we'll talk about the course materials. You'll find the syllabus, periodic table, and such over here. But then there's a link to the lecture notes and videos. If you click on this, you're going to see some dates along the margin here. January 9, of course, is today. 11, after class today. Anything that you see me having written on up here, I'll be making PDF copies of, and I'll be posting it to the January 9th section here on D2L. I'm also recording everything here. This is I'll upload it to YouTube, and then you can listen to that link on YouTube. Some of the other things you're going to find in here, for example, if you were to look at January 11th, which is our next class, and tap on that, there's going to be a section on there titled Supplements and Quick Checks. Supplements and Quick Checks. And if you look under here, it's going to have some items listed. These are what I would call study guides. And I prepared these for my online class when I started teaching that about 10 years ago. And I have them available for you. There's a piece where you can go through and complete the study guide. And then if you go on to the next piece, if you're not sure how to do something, what I've done is I've created some YouTube videos that go through and explain. Let's go ahead and convert 32,700,000,000 grams. And it works through them. And then the next piece on there is going to be a solution piece. So again, these are the study guides. And the study guides have a piece with them where I have the narrated solution to each one of the problems that's on there. But one of the things I was going to direct you to in here, I believe, maybe I haven't put it in here yet. I think I saw it when I first loaded up, maybe on the 23rd. Well, anyhow, I'll find where it is at, and what you'll find on there is I've created some flashcards for you to practice those elements. You can go through, and one of them will present you with a symbol, and then you give the name of the element with the correct spelling. The other one will give the name of the element, and then you'll provide the symbol. So there's a bunch of flashcards that I've put through there. I think there's 100 flashcards altogether. There will be probably 3 elements that you have not seen before, 3 or 4, because in my more advanced class, we have them memorize just a few more elements. So you may encounter probably 3 or 4 elements that's not on your list to memorize, but don't worry about them. Only worry in this class about the ones that are highlighted in gray. So any questions on that? All right, then we are going to go to some chemistry here today. A couple things, and I'd like for you to pull those Socrative apps back out, your mobile devices, and have a couple questions I'd like for you to answer that are going to show up on there. And first question is going to be, does water conduct electricity? Yes. Well, then you can talk to me after class. We went through that at the beginning. I don't think you were here when we went through that, so you can visit with me at the end of class today. Okay. So first question is going to be, does water conduct electricity? Why or why not? And then I have up here 4 different balloons. I'd like for you to discuss what could be in the balloons. I'm going to have you, and how do we tell whether or not it conducts electricity? I'm going to use this device up here, and I'm going to plug it in here first of all. They don't design them like this anymore. This is probably not safe. It's got these metal prongs hanging down. But if the water conducts electricity, I'm going to take some water here and see if it conducts electricity. If it does, I'm going to place it in here, and you'll see that once the circuit's complete, the light bulb will go on. So first question, does water conduct electricity? Why or why not? Second question is, what is in the balloons? I'm going to give you about 2 minutes here to turn to a neighbor and discuss what you think your answers will be, and then we're going to go ahead and put them into the Socrative app. So 2 to 3 minutes. Go ahead, turn to neighbor's house. All right, the questions should pop up on your app now. All right, we'll get our answers locked in now. And usually when I do this, I will count down like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like 90% of us say yes, it will. 10% of us say it will not. Of course, the best way to find out for sure is to test it. And we'll be doing that here in just a bit. But I want to see what you come up with for the second question. Identify one gas that you think could be in the balloons. There could be several. What's one gas you think might be in the balloon? And we'll give you a chance to lock in your answers. We'll count down: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like helium, helium, helium. And there's one that says oxygen, but for the most part, helium appears to be the consensus. All right, so we'll go back to the previous one. The previous one was, does pure water conduct electricity? 90% of us say yes. The best test of that, of course, is to actually test it. We'll place some water into here. We will make sure that our apparatus works. Of course, when I demonstrate these things, I should always be demonstrating proper safety. So I'll put on my funky goggles here. We'll check to make sure that this thing works again. We see that it does. All right, drum roll, please. And we see that pure water does not conduct electricity. All right, 2 of you at least were right. Now, why do you think that it does not conduct? Just a good guess? Yeah.
Does it have like certain minerals in it? Electricity, the currents like salt water, like salt would help conduct something.
All right, so you think that certain things have to be in it in order for it to conduct electricity. And you are right. And what we're going to do here is we're going to put some water into each of these 2. I'll just test this one here real quick to make sure that this one's not conducting as well. And then I have 2 substances up here. The 2 substances I have are some sugar and some salt. And I'm going to go ahead and put a small amount into each one of these. So we'll put sugar here into the one that's on your left. And we'll mix this one up, get it to dissolve. And let's see here. We'll take the next one here with some salt and put it in. And we'll mix this one up to dissolve. And so now the salt then is in the one that is on your right. We'll start here with the sugar. Now this I don't have up on the Socrative app, but how many of you think that sugar would be one that would conduct electricity when we dissolve it in water? You don't want to commit yourself, I understand. It's okay when we can be anonymous here, but all right, we see that this one doesn't. How many think that salt will conduct electricity when dissolved in water? Oh, see, some of you are willing to commit, and we did, and you did mention salt. And when we talk about salt, one of the things you mentioned before you even mentioned salt was the word minerals. It has to have some minerals dissolved in it. In fact, if I went here, now the water I picked was crucial. Remember that I was picking pure water. When you go into the lab, you will want to be sure that you identify which tap you get things out of. If we're dissolving chemicals into water, we will always want to be sure that we're dissolving into this water, which is deionized or purified water. This one over here is ordinary tap water, and we're getting it out of the tap. And this one can have some minerals dissolved in it, so when we test this one right here, notice what's happening on this one. You see a very slight amount. And so this is telling us that there's some minerals in this water, but how many minerals do you think are in there? Not a lot, because we saw that when we have salt in there, and we dissolved a fair amount in there, this is what it looks like when we have a fairly significant amount of minerals that's contained in there. So we're going to learn a word today, and the word we're going to learn is, well, first of all, we say that water does not conduct electricity. And then in order for it to conduct electricity, it must contain, now I know that you use the word minerals, and that's good, but I'm going to use a more general term depending on how we use the chemicals. We're going to refer to them as electrolytes. So it must contain electrolytes. And we define electrolytes like this. We define electrolytes, and I'm not going to write it down, but you can write it down. We define electrolytes as substances that conduct electricity when dissolved in water. Electrolytes are substances that conduct electricity when dissolved in water. Now, when I said the word electrolytes, I saw some people go, electrolytes. I've heard that before. Where have you heard of electrolytes before? Gatorade. Yeah, you've heard of them probably in Gatorade. And who might we market Gatorade to, or what is why would we want to use electrolytes? Yeah.
A lot of people will have it right before I go off, before I'm making or something like that.
Okay.
When I'm outside for a long period of time.
Okay. And so typically when you're going to be very active, then is what you're saying, right? Okay, so this is very often marketed to athletes. So why is it you think that athletes might need electrolytes? Yes. Keeps you hydrated. Now, if we think of the term itself, electrolytes, and how we define it, we said it's a substance that conducts electricity when dissolved in water. Why would we need something in our bodies or part of our diet that conducts electricity when it's dissolved in water? Keep us moving. Why? What is it that keeps us moving? Well, energy is something that's different than just moving. A heart, sure. When we say moving, you are right, but it's not the energy piece in the heart. That's correct. If we want to move our muscle, we think about it, but it's electrical signals that we are sending from our brain down to our muscles that tell us that we want to flex those muscles.
Nerve conduction.
Nerve conduction as well, right? If we want our nerves to conduct electrical signals, we have to have electrolytes in there. If we wanted to get an idea of how our heart is performing, we do something called the EKG, which is an electrocardiogram. And it tells us, gives us a picture of the electrical activity that's occurring in our heart. So whether we're moving our muscles or we're thinking about things, we have our nerves acting, our heart beating, those are all things that rely on the ability of electricity to be conducted in our body. So why is it you think that athletes then specifically are ones that this is often marketed to? And I understand you talked about working out or whatever, but what is it that happens when we work out?
We have to lose the electricity.
Yeah, how do we lose it?
Working out, sweating.
Sweating, exactly. If you ever taste your sweat, how does your sweat taste? Salty, exactly. And of course, what do we find out was the electrolyte up here? Salt, right. So when you take those electrolyte tablets, what you're really taking is a salt tablet. That's what it boils down to. So you want to save some money, I don't know how much it costs you there, just does a little bit of salt and you'll be okay. Okay, and that's really what Gatorade is. Gatorade is a salt solution. Of course, you might say, I've tasted Gatorade before, it tastes nothing like a salt solution. Why does it taste nothing like a salt solution? They add some sugar to it, exactly. It doesn't taste very good to drink salt water, so you add a little bit of sugar to it, give it some flavor, and then it makes it a lot easier to go down. And then the piece I was mentioning earlier was about energy. The salt is the electrolyte, the sugar is the energy piece. That's the part that gives us the energy. And that's the carbohydrates, the stuff that we have in our diet. The stuff that has calories is the stuff that gives us energy. Salt doesn't have any calories. Okay, any questions on that? All right, next item here. And I don't know, I always walk around with my stylus and then lose it. Here we go. Was what's in the balloons? It looks like it was almost unanimous that we thought it was helium. And of course, one of the things that I like to do when I have a little bit of helium is to inhale some. And you might wonder what a stamps do when you sit around at parties. We get balloons, we pass gases around.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh boy, my voice hasn't been that high for a long time. You know, I've been sick here for a couple of weeks, so I won't give you a hip off here. One of the things you need to be careful of when you inhale these gases.
You might notice my face maybe turning a little bit of red, maybe my lips turning blue. You know, you get a little bit lightheaded. And of course, the reason for that is because there's a little bit of lack of oxygen to the head. So you don't want to take in too much helium because you're going to cut off the supply of oxygen to the brain and you're going to wind up passing out, and that's not good. But what I like to do, what I prefer to do is I prefer to test them a different way, and I have a motto that says, if possible, test by fire, then do it. And so we're going to test these here by fire. Now, if you startle easily, what I'd ask is that you cover your ears, and if you don't like things that bang, you do have the option to leave, or maybe just put your head down and cover your ears. If any kind of loud noise will startle you, cover your ears. All right, guess that wasn't so much. So we'll try another one. I'm going to come to this balloon right here, and we'll put it out just a little bit so it's a little closer to y'all. Again, if you startle easily, you might want to cover your ears. All right. Now, balloon one, balloon two. One of them did contain helium. Which one contained helium? This one here, the first one or the second one? Which one would you feel safe giving to kids? All right, first one here was helium. Second one was hydrogen, exactly. Second one here was hydrogen. Now, if we look at where they're located on the periodic table, where is hydrogen? Upper left. Where is helium? Upper right. And so hydrogen happens to be grouped with the other elements that are called the alkali metals. And we're going to find out that those are very reactive elements. All those here that are in that first group or first column are very reactive elements. We're going to find out why they're reactive as a part of this course. Helium, though, is a part of a group of elements called the noble gases, We're going to find out that they're very non-reactive elements. In fact, if I tested any of them there from the last group, any of the noble gases, we'd find out that they're very non-reactive. And we'll learn as a part of this course why that is. Now so we just want to find out if you learned something. So let's just go to our Socratic App. This is the last question of the day here. And the question is, which gas, when contained in a balloon, will cause it to explode with a big ball of fire when ignited with a candle on a stick? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. You're just answering virtually now, all right? Okay. So let's get your answers locked in here. We'll count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what did I just do? I finished it. So how do I do this? There we go, right there. Hydrogen, very good. Now, one balloon, you might be wondering what's in this one. This one's a very special balloon. This one here contains 2 gases. This one has both hydrogen in it and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. And in fact, I put them in here in a ratio of 2 parts of hydrogen for every 1 part of oxygen. And what do we know that consists of 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen? Water, because the formula for water is H2O. In here, we have hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. I am going to react them together by igniting them. In order to do that, though, I am going to have to put on some ear protection. You will have to cover your ears on this one yourself. I won't do this unless you cover your ears. And if you startle easily, you might want to put your head down as well. Now, of course, when we did that, we took hydrogen gas, reacted with oxygen gas, and what we made up here was water. Of course, we don't see the water because the water we produced was in the form of a gas. And that's one of the other things we'll be talking about this semester as well. So, before we go on with anything, are there any questions on the syllabus or anything that we've seen here today? Yes? Hydrogen by itself is a gas, but it's grouped with the rest of the elements. They're called alkali elements, or the alkali metals. Any others? All right, this is what I call starting the semester with a bang. All right, we'll see you guys later.